We talk a lot about food labels and nutritional content and additives. Let's take a look at a couple of labels. It's close to Anzac Day here in Australia, so let's use some bought Anzac biscuits. If you're overseas and you've never heard of Anzac biscuits, they're an oat-based cookie. There's no eggs in them, so they have a great shelf life, and they were sent overseas to the troops during World War I and sold for fundraising. Anzac stands for Australian and New Zealand Army Corps. We eat them any time of year, but they commemorate Anzac Day, which is April 25, and the day that the Anzacs set out to capture the Gallipoli Peninsula in Turkey. The day remembers all the Australians killed in any military operations. Here's two brands, one from a small bakery, Illawarra, and the other from a bigger company, Baker's Finest. Let's look at what we can learn about them. The Illawarra one, well, the ingredients are super simple. Oats, sugar, coconut, butter, flour, golden syrup, water and bicarb soda. Basically what you'd use at home if you were going to bake Anzac cookies. The serving size is quite large. There's 716 kilojoules per biscuit, which is about 170 calories, which means that a 100 calorie or 420 kilojoule serve is about half a biscuit, or the whole biscuit could be considered a weight maintenance snack. The saturated fat content in the sodium is below the threshold to be an everyday snack biscuit, but we tend not to include things that you only eat half of because it's difficult to only eat half of something. Let's face it, we just eat the whole thing. The bigger brand contains a preservative, emulsifier, acidity regulator, antioxidant, colour, and even added flavour. So why does a big company add all this extra stuff? Well, a few reasons. Firstly, shelf life. The preservative in the bigger brand is actually part of the desiccated coconut. This preservative is sodium metabisulfite, which is one of the ones that we're excluding from the everyday category of the Australian Healthy Snack Bible. Other reasons big brands may use these additives are for consistency. So when you're baking millions of biscuits, you want them to look and feel exactly the same every time, and additives help with that. Can also be for production and transport. So they need their biscuits to survive long trips and different storage conditions, and the extra stabilizers make sure that they don't fall apart. And for cost cutting. Sometimes synthetic flavors and emulsifiers help reduce the need for the real ingredients, or they might enable cheaper options with longer shelf lives to be used, and that may be the case with the coconut. So it keeps the costs down. For the use by date, the Illawarra still has 6 months on it despite no additives, and the Baker's Finest has 1 year. What about the ones that seem to be made fresh at the supermarket bakery? Surely they don't need the additives because they're baked fresh and no doubt eaten soon after. Well, here's the ingredients for the Woolworths version. So you can see there's still significant additives in there. There is that preservative in the desiccated coconut. In the raising agents there, I'll just point out that raising agent 500 is actually just bicarb soda. But you can see that even what seems to be a freshly made product is coming from a pre-packaged mix with the additives already in there. It would be so much nicer if they used oats, butter, coconut, and they made these fresh. Then there'd be real value in having a bakery inside the supermarket. So my point is that clearly you can make this product and transport it and package it and have a decent shelf life of 6 months without the additives, because Illawarra have done it. So we need more companies doing that with whatever food, everyday foods, occasional foods, anything we like to eat. If the shelf life needs to be shorter, surely that's okay. Just make smaller batches and protect our health. What do you think? Would you choose the likely more expensive brand with the home-style ingredients, or go with the mass production with the additives? I know what I choose for now, and I'd like to see the big brands consider going more home-style. I know they can do it.